Hey, what's going on, guys? You got Ace here, and today we have NPL Miners Week 8 versus Turkey. He's a very skilled player. I guess I'll go over the drafts right now. I'm not gonna make this too long of a video. My draft, as always: Megalodios, Azumarill, Lucario, Crocodile, Tangrowth, Darmanitan, Thundurus T, which is my Zmon, Sneasel, Golbat, and Metagross. The transaction period for the season has already ended, so I made it through the entire season without changing a single mon on my team, which my in hindsight, my team wasn't the best one, but it was good enough that I didn't feel like I needed to make any transactions to fix any holes. Although I don't think some of the mons on there were at their absolute best. Like I think I could have drafted a team that more effectively used that could more effectively use mons like Lucario and Sneasel. I have not gotten much good use out of those mons this season. But our opponent Turkey's draft is let me see if I can find it on the doc real quick. Here. Tapu Fini, Latios, which is his Zmon, Mega Pinsir, Dugtrio, Silvally, Serperior, Swampert, Magnezone, Houndoom, Linoon, and Garbodor. So, or Garbodor, however you want to pronounce it. Um, First thing to notice when I look at this, when I look at the matchup, is that I don't have I need to bring AV Tangrowth. Just to have a pivot around Fini because it actually is a really solid offensive matchup against my team. Like I don't have a good Moonblast switch in that isn't also like weak to Surf. Like the only thing is Metagross, and what is Metagross doing back to a Fini? Nothing. So uh so I decided, I have to bring an AV Tangrowth. Here, let me go to it real quick. Yeah, AV Tangrowth, Power Whip. I have the 12 EVs, so Power Whip 2 KOs, a defensive Calm Mind, Tapu Fini, then knock off EQ HP Ice for the rest of his team. Um, Also, he doesn't have the best switch-ins to an offensive Metagross, so I have the Shuka Berry because I want to be able to take an Earthquake from Dugtrio as well as an Earthquake from Mega Pinsir. Like this is my first response check to Mega Pinsir because I can take a +2 Earthquake, I can take a return into an Earthquake, and I kill him back with Rock Slide. Uh, the uh, the Shuka Berry is also really nice for mons like Swampert and even like a Dig Linoon if he chooses to bring that. Though I don't expect Linoon to come this match, despite how much Bronson did. Um, Love you, Bronson. I have Latios Mega. It is a really solid offensive matchup versus Turk, like Thunderbolt for Tapu Fini and things like that. Dragon Pulse for general stab, and HP Ground for that Magnezone. Obviously, I'm not going to be doing a ton of this Swampert with this set. I really wanted Energy Ball over Thunderbolt on this set, so I can smack the Swampert if he wants to bring it in on this set. But unfortunately, I needed Thunderbolt for the likes of Mega Pinsir, so I could get guaranteed like Oko on that Mon, because I didn't want to be stuck in a position like if he's at 75% late game after taking rocks in normal form, he gets up in SD and then Dragon Pulse isn't enough to kill him, and I get kind of screwed there. So I figured that's more important than OKOing Swampert because I already like nearly 2 KO with Dragon Pulse. So that was my thoughts there. And then Thunderbolt's doing the same as Energy Ball to mons like Dugtrio and Tapu Fini. Then a more offensive Crook. This set is meant to Pursuit Trap the Latias if he chooses to switch out. Mostly to get up rocks because Crook is good against getting rocks. Like he's probably going to switch like into Fini or something like that against this Crook if I bring it in on any of his mons that are weak to my stabs. Like this mon is here to just intimidate mons, get up rocks, and probably just sack it later and get off and intimidate. Just a decent pivot all around. Has some nice immunities versus his team. And then the Figgy Berries there just because I didn't really have another good item for this mon. The berries didn't really do anything. Like, defensive Fini isn't OKOing me with any of its moves, so I figured that Figgy Berry is better than like a Roselli Berry because he could just like predict a berry and go for a different move or something like that. So if I, take a move, get brought really low, I'm like that. I can take another move later in the game if I need to. And Thunderous, Agility Thunderous, it can sweep him late game if I weaken that Magna Zone a decent amount. Speed is to outspeed. It's to outspeed the Silvally, I believe. Um, Not quite sure on that. Here, let me check real quick. I am speed creeping base. Yeah, I think it's for the Silvally. Actually, no. Well, Silvally and Houndoom. Oh, it's for the Linoon. Yeah, the speed's for the Linoon, so if he tries to belly drum against me, expecting to outspeed if I'm creeping Silvally, I can outspeed, get a Thunderbolt on it, and it can't belly drum anymore. Well, it can't belly drum anymore without taking... Because I don't think I Oko him with Thunderbolt, but I do a ton, so... Yeah, getting that outspeed on the Linoon is important in that respect if he's already taken a hit. And... Sneasel, it's my best Revenger for Mega Pinsir. Like, I don't want to, go to Crook and then not outspeed and then just die to return and then have the rest of my team swept by return. I don't want to, go to Metagross. He sets up an SD. Metagross is already weakened, takes me out with EQ and then sweeps me. Also, one thing about Thundurus is I figured that if he's at SD Quick Attack Mega Pinsir, then he's not going to have coverage for Thundurus because Return does a ton to it already. Like, Return does 50% to it, which is, like, a lot, because especially because Thundurus is weak to rocks and the hazard removal on my team is really bad. So I'm not really expecting coverage for Thundurus on his Mega Pinsir, but it could come. So let's get into the game real quick. Let me switch sides real quick. And get the aspect ratio right. There we go. So as you can see, he brought this selection of mons. I'm not like super surprised by it, but like I expected Houndoom to come. I expected Swampert to come because he's gonna want rocks. Expected Feeny and Latios and Mega Pinsir. Silvally, I kind of expected Dougie instead of Silvally because I have two steel types and he would want to trap those, like especially if he's a Sash Dougie to trap Lucario, because Lucario is a pretty big threat to his team. So I'm just going to lead with my Metagross because as you can see, my Metagross had Grass Knot, which 2 KOs his Swampert. So if he wanted to keep his Swampert in to set up rocks, then he would be taking a huge Grass Knot to do so. So I was hoping to catch his Swampert with that in the lead, but he just leads Feeny. So I switch out to my Tangrowth because I don't want to take a Surf or Nature's Madness or anything. So that's fine. I just go for a knockoff on the switch. And obviously, I can't overpredict around this pin, so I just go out to my dedicated counter Metagross as he goes for knockoff. So that's extremely annoying because not only because it's a roll for me to die to the next one, so that's really bad for me. And that also sort of signals to me that he might not be an SD set. Well, it should signal to me that, but I'm not quite sure about that. And that prediction just really put me on the back foot early in the game because, now I have to switch in to a possible return or another knockoff, and I don't want another Mon to lose an item. Like, only Thundy and Lottie don't care about losing their items, and, they're not really knockoff switching, so he's going to switch out, thankfully, even though he had, like, a chance to kill me there. I just go for Rock Slide because in case I was able to live, I would have been able to kill him. But he just goes out to Feeny, which is fine. He goes for Nature's Madness. I decided to sack this thing off because Meteor Mesh actually does a ton to this Feeny, and I'm sort of expecting to outspeed because I am creeping a defensive set. But he actually creeped my creep, which is really good on him. So Mash is going to do a pretty good chunk to this Feeny. Yeah, he sort of overprotects and tries to go for Nature's Madness, predicting my Tangrowth, so that worked out really well. So he gets out into Swampert when I do finally go out into Tangrowth, because I kind of expect him to kill me there with Moonblast or Surf, but he goes into Swampert, so that's great because he can't set up his rocks without, getting power whipped. So he's going to go out to his Silvally Steel as a double out to Latios. I was, kind of predicting Pinsir to come out again, or maybe even like Mega Houndoom, not Mega Houndoom, but Houndoom, or even like Latios, because just like he needed something to switch into a Power Whip, and that's basically it. I can't really do that much to Silvally Steel, but I do stay in just to go for an HP ground, because if he was a more offensive set, he was going to be U-turning out, and there's no reason for like me to switch out on a U-turn. And well, I can get decent HP ground damage off. But he turns out to be like more of a Spadef set, or I think I haven't calculated this in a long time, but he's a set that's not 2 KO by my HP ground. So he actually goes for Thunder Roof, which is a lot worse than U-turn, because now Mega Pinsir can go for return on me, and like a non-Scarf Houndoom will be outspeeding me. So that's really bad for me. So he goes for Parting Shot. I switch into Crook. I kind of expected like maybe like an Iron Head to Paraflinch me or U-turn. So I get up my rocks on his Swampert. I get that prediction right, which is nice because, there's no reason for him to go for an attacking move when I have a Tangrowth. I can just heal all the damage off. So now I go back into Latios because I expected like some sort of status or something like that. I didn't want my Tangrowth to get skull burned either. So he goes out into Silvally Steel again as I go for Thunderbolt. I was predicting I was sort of predicting Feeny there because Psychic isn't that great of a bring against him, and that would be able to switch into Dragon Pulses, and he could outspeed and do a ton with Moonblast on the next turn. But he goes into Valley Steel, which is fine too, because like HP ground wouldn't have killed him either, so it like the extra couple percent wouldn't have mattered all that much. So he actually reveals Ice Beam and gets a crit, but I have the Figgy Berry, so it's fine. Ice Beam was a really good bring on his part because now there are zero mons left on his team that I can set up on with Thundy. So I'll have to predict a switch or something with that thing to set up with it. So as he goes into his Latios, I just go for an Earthquake. So that's real bad for me because knockoff killed him at that point, which made me kind of angry because I had no reason not to go for a knockoff there. So that makes me a little bit angry, but it's okay. I feel like that was a bit of a misplay on Turk's part because, as we see later, this is not a Colbur Latios, and I believe my Crook didn't even have knockoff, so maybe he expected no knockoff on Crook, which was really good on his part. But most Crooks carry knockoff, and if I had knockoff, I 100% would have clicked it there. So not sure what he was thinking, but he probably has his reasons. So he goes into he hits the prediction right, which is good though. And I just sack off my Metagross. I actually live, so I get some bullet punch damage on him, but it's not really mattering. From that damage though, and from the Ice Beam damage, I can tell that this is a very defensive Latios, which means that Sneasel can like do some stuff. Like what I do is actually I double to Thundurus, expecting him to sack off his Silvally. Which was a really bad play on my part, and I'll tell you why. Because I forgot that the Silvally had Ice Beam when I did this. I figured, okay, the way I'm winning this game is Thundurus getting up in agility and winning. So, how am I going to do that? So, I was looking at his team, and I was like, wow, I can't do that versus anything, because Feeny's going to either get a special attack drop or put me in range of like a Mega Pincer Quick Attack. And so that's not what I want to do. And so Valley Steel I thought was my last hope, but it has Ice Beam, and then I calced Ice Beam. I'm just like, wow, this does a ton. So I just have to kill him here, and that feels really bad because now Sneasel has taken effectively two Rocks hits, and the Thundurus has taken a Rocks hit. So that double was a really bad play on my part, and likely will lose me the game because this Thundurus is not healthy enough to set up on Feeny anymore, and Feeny's the last mon it can set up on. So that's awful for me. So he goes Latias. I'm not 100% sure why he did this because I could tell from the bullet punch damage that he's really defensive and he's not probably not going to be able to outspeed me. And even if he does, he's not going to be able to kill me with anything because he's not invested. So I just go for my Z Dark move and I kill him. So not sure why I went Latias, but he didn't really need it, I guess. So there's no real reason to do that. So he brings in Mega Pinsir. I'm like, oh shoot. Did I win? Because if he's not a Scarf Houndoom, then he actually is nothing to revenge me anymore. I guess he could try going Swampert, but I have Grass Knot, and that might take him out. So I was like, okay, why do you go Mega Pinsir instead of like a potential Scarf Houndoom? So I decide, alright, he's either Stone Edge Mega Pinsir, which is very unlikely, like very few people brought it. I don't see a reason why someone would bring it because return does a ton to Thundurus, but he actually ends up being the Stone Edge Mega Pinsir and hits it. So I figured if he was Stone Edge Mega Pinsir, on the off chance that he was Stone Edge Mega Pinsir, he would probably miss anyway because Stone Edge is kind of is that kind of move. But he hits it and he has it, so that's really bad for me. Now Sneasel needs to take another Rocks hit, so it has very few Life Orb hits left, especially, you know, if I switch out. So I'm not going to risk a quick attack here, I just go for Ice Shard. And I'm really low right now, like if I switch out, I only have 2 Life Orb hits left, which isn't really enough to, you know, even do like close to enough damage to Feeny. So I just sack this thing off as he kills me with Waterfall. This was a bit of a misplay on my part because going out to Tangrowth here would have been a very safe play because his Ice Punch doesn't even do a lot to me, and he doesn't have a Power Whip switch in. So I'm not sure why I did that because Tangrowth would have been a very good play here, and I would have this Sneasel around for late game if I needed to Ice Shard something like the Mega Pinsir. So bad play on my part because I sack it off for no reason, and it's not like this Tangrowth needs like the extra HP. It's like it'll just be able to heal it off. So he goes Feeny. He's able to defog on me, so now Mega Pinsir is live again. And now he goes Houndoom, and I can take a Fire Blast. I can see it does 67%, and I do go for EQ, and he Sash. So that's like the worst possible situation for me because one, I don't take him out, which is the important part, but two, I need to sack off both my remaining mons just to get Regenerator on Tangrowth to take another Fire Blast and lower the differential a little bit. So unfortunately, we're going to lose 1-0 to Turk. Really, I played that game pretty bad, and I should feel bad about it. Like, I choked at quite a few different parts. Like, the double of the Thundurus was very stupid on my part because... double the Thundurus was stupid on my part because it got Rocks damage on Sneasel, which caused me to misplay again and sack it off later. And sacking off Sneasel was stupid on my part too because, as you can see, it would have just cleaned up with Ice Shard here. It would have Ice Sharded the Houndoom and Ice Sharded the Pinsir, and the extra damage on Tangrowth wouldn't have mattered. So, unfortunately, that's what happens, and, you know, I just have to live with the loss. Now, our conference is very close. I am tied with a 5-3 record with Turk. So 4 people in my conference have a 5-3 record. Turk, myself, Adam, and Paul. So we'll see how that goes. I am second out of the 4 right now. Adam is first, then me, then Turk, then Paul, I believe. So I don't know how that's gonna go. I haven't even played the next few matches yet, so I don't know. But it's looking like my last 2 matches are Greg and Adam. So Greg hasn't been trying all that much in the minors lately, so hopefully I'll be able to beat him. And if I do, my match against Adam will be extremely hype because it will be a match that likely decides who will be in majors next season. So look forward to those hype battles, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.